The Dawn in the building. ISTV. Yes, I'm talking about Intercontinental Sport TV. Back again with this another video. Call it Friday Sport Talk. No, yeah, alone, you know. Alright, let's talk to me, people. You're welcome to the show. It's all about Friday Sport Talk, people. Yes. Don't be loud, I tell you, people. I'm ready. Come on, let's go, people. Smash your like on the video. This is Intercontinental Sport TV. This is how we roll. This is how we do it on Friday. Yes. I'm not always on the studio. I have a man. I have a lady in the house. Aggie is in the house. Robbie is also in the house. Tell you, it is what it is. Alright. Let me this lady. Margaret, you are live. Talk to me. How you doing? Margaret, can you hear me loud and clear? You're in the studio. You're live. All right. Robbie, what's going on, bro? Are you ready?
Hey, Didon. Good evening. How are you doing?
All right.
It's good to be on the show this evening. Good to be on the show this evening. A lot has been happening. Well, maybe I should just bore you a bit because I just finished watching the Super 8 right here. The game between Shooting Stars and Remo Stars, and Shooting Stars got the beating of their lives today at the hands of their next door neighbors. Talking about Remo Stars, and social media is going crazy right now. So, but talking about our major topic for today, we have why Kyle Havertz is going to Arsenal. Let us just keep our fingers crossed, because I tell you that this new season will give us a lot of drama and a lot of talking points. Is Kyle Havertz fit for Arsenal? I don't know. I can't tell you that for certain just yet. But like I said, let us see how this whole new season will go. And of course, who's going to win the Ballon d'Or? I really don't know who are going to vote. But I think Messi deserves the Ballon d'Or, because the exploit of what he has done for the World Cup, I think that alone should just more or less set him apart or put him in the driving seat for the Ballon d'Or. So on that note, I say good evening, and of course, let us get this party started.
All right, you hear that from this great man, Robbie. I can't hear Margaret at all. I don't know what's wrong with it. With her line there, it's been going out, coming in. I don't really understand. But today's Friday, Robbie. You're welcome to the show. Let's quickly dissect it. We are talking about who is going to win the Ballon d'Or. The great. We've seen so many people winning it this great time, but at this moment, we're looking at who's going to win this at this moment. Hold on, I want to bring on Margaret. Margaret, can you hear me loud and clear right now?
Yes, the Dawn, I can hear you very clearly.
All right. You're welcome to the show. You're absolutely welcome to the show. Let me welcome this woman with a round of applause for her joining us on this show. You're welcome. You're welcome, lady. Now, let's get...
Thank you.
And Kunle is also joining us. Kunle,
thank you, John. Can you please ask Happy to actually clap for...
I'm trying to hear you very well. I think your network is kind of mesmerizing at this moment. Kunle, you're welcome to the show.
Good evening, Dawn. Good evening to everyone. Well done.
All right.
Good evening, Kunle.
Kunle, you're welcome to the show. Quick one.
I'm going to please tell Robbie to say hi to me, please.
Okay. Robbie, he said he should say hi.
I am not saying hi to anybody. Kule, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. What's happening?
What's happening with?
Abi, we should ask.
Don't worry. At the backstage. Continue.
Margaret, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
All right, let's go, guys. I have this one showing on the clip right now. It's a quick debate. We call it every Friday. We always have a quick debate. They done in the building. Robbie's joining me. Kunle is also joining me. And the Iron Lady, Margaret, is also joining us on this show. Please, this is Intercontinental Sport TV. This is how we do it. This is how we roll. You can follow us on our Twitter page, which is also on our Instagram. It's shown on the screen. I think our Twitter handle has been changed to WIN ISTV. That's ONEISTV. So also our website is on the. We should be launching our website on Monday. God's willing, our website will be ready. God's willing. But today's show is Friday Sport Talk. Let's talk about this. Kunle, I'm going to start up with you. No doubt about it. You know football. You know Ballon d'Or is so important it is. I think the only African player that's ever won it is George Oponwe at the moment. I've not seen any Africa also going into it right now. But let's look at these four players. They've really done so well. Vinicius Junior, Julie Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, and also Erling Haaland. For you, Kunle, two greatest of all time for me, Messi and Ronaldo, are not on this list for the first time. What's your take on this, and who do you think is going to win this among these four great gentlemen? Kunle, you're welcome to the show once again.
Good evening. Good evening, the Don, once again. Well, I think it is good that either of Messi or Ronaldo are not there because it means that we can focus on other talents that are. It's not to take anything away from Messi and Ronaldo, but I think they've dominated the sports they've dominated football for like the last 20. For almost like the last 20 years, so
I'm
much
telling
that
you,
like we actually forget that there are other talents out there who are equally as deserving. Now, it's not as if to say maybe they didn't deserve it. Obviously, they were at the height of their careers at that point, and they were the most outstanding players. But I think it's good now that they are of age, we can now look towards the much younger players, and these are some of the names. The leading names in football at the moment that have been, displayed. And well, if I would say who deserves it, well, I think it's pretty kind of straightforward. There's really no debate about it. Although, even if we can have a counter argument, I can always make a second pick. But for fairness, and I think it is clear that it is going to be Erling Haaland because if we talk about it on an individual level, I think he beat everybody on this list. And well, if we talk about it on the level of trophies won, I think he's won more trophies than every other person on the list. So I think it goes to the hair. It goes to the ponytail hair man without any debates. Although if there is an objection, I think I would like it though. But I think there is really hardly any objection because I think no other person. I think only Mbappe came close to him, but even at that, I think Haaland still had more. No. I think Haaland had more. Yeah, I think Haaland had just more than Mbappe last season, whether it's in terms of goals, and then the titles that were won. So I mean, I think he's the one who deserves it without any.
But you can. I was thinking you're going to say Vinicius Junior also could also be.
Yeah. Now, for a counter argument, I could actually use Vinicius because when you look at it, that despite the fact that Real Madrid, were not that successful, they only won, I think, the Copa del Rey. They didn't win the Champions League, neither did they win La Liga, but he was still able to put in some very, very good figures for Real Madrid. I think, if I am correct, I think overall last season he had he was able to score up to 20 goals and also 20 plus assists as well.
Yeah.
And I think that figure alone already puts him up there with the likes of Mbappe, because I think Mbappe had something similar.
Yeah.
So I think for the sake of the fact that even though Real Madrid were not at their best, they still had someone who turned up or who was putting in the figures consistently. It was Vinicius. So if for a counter argument, if you would say I should pick someone else, it would definitely be Vinicius.
Well, I'm sure I want to know whether Margaret has another different opinion. Margaret, what do you think? Who do you think will win the Ballon d'Or in 2024?
Okay. It's like everyone has actually forgotten that there is a certain Rodri. I don't know if he is on the list.
It's you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right too. Yes, Rodri.
So because he hasn't scored outstanding goals, banging goals like Erling Haaland, so everyone thought, oh, he's actually nothing. Because it seems that winning the Ballon d'Or has actually one of the criteria. In fact, the main criteria is for you to score goals and win trophies. But they're actually forgetting people who are in there doing the work for someone like Alan to score goals, which if we want to say left alone for Haaland, we have the likes of Haaland like 5 in that team. I'm sure it would have been difficult to create goals. Maybe they would have been fighting to score alone, which would have been difficult. But for the likes of Rodri, he just won the UEFA Nations League with Spain to go with the treble that he won with Man City. So I think he had a fantastic season. And for me, I feel he should win it. If at all they want to look at, or they will actually want to look at him, but he should win it. That's for me.
Yes. Also, Kunle, Margaret actually pointed out something fact there. What's your take on that? That, for example, Rodri, which actually is a guy that really pushed Manchester United. I almost say Manchester United. Sorry, Manchester City.
Hopefully one day will come.
So what's your take, Kule, on this about Rodri? I mean, it was so exceptional. It was fantastic last season. So what's your take on Rodri should have been also in this list of greats?
Yes, I think there is no doubt about it, but I think Margaret has kind of like said most of it, because Rodri is a defensive midfielder, and you look at it that most non-offensive players hardly get the award. I think the last person who did that was Luka Modric, and
yes,
and it was actually, it was a surprise to some, but because they were like, oh, that someone like Mbappe should have won it that year, because France won the World Cup and all of that,
yes.
But midfielders are hardly required. I mean, for a midfielder to win it, it's going to mean that probably one of the offensive players,
yes,
did not really probably have a successful season in terms of maybe titles. So there was one person, but in this case, we have a Erling Haaland who was already successful with titles, and he matched it with individual, with the goals. And also, it's not to take anything away from Rodri. Yes. The truth of the matter is, if I even wanted to say who should go for the Ballon d'Or, it's not even going to be Rodri. Do you know who?
Who is that? Tell me.
Julian Alvarez. Because this Julian
really?
Alvarez. Yes, Julian
Robbie,
Alvarez.
they hear him.
Yeah, because Julian Alvarez.
Don't mind the bros. Let him finish. Finish, bros. Finish.
No.
Well done, sir.
Okay. We maybe keep forgetting that Julian Alvarez was a very key part of the Argentina team that won the World Cup. I think he had like 4 goals. So I think he finished as the second highest goal scorer. And see, so you can't take away Alvarez, because if you take away Alvarez from that team, I'm being serious. I don't think Argentina might not have won that World Cup, and that's the fact. I understand. Yes, everyone will talk about Messi, but Alvarez did put in the work, and he did. Now in the Premier League as well, there were occasions where Erling Haaland didn't turn up, and this Alvarez was someone who we know that, okay, even though we know he hasn't played that much, he comes off the bench, but he has actually shown that if he is playing regularly, he can score, he can deliver, he can deliver the goods, and whether I like it or not, he actually played his part in this trouble. But I think his case too is similar like Rodri. Let me be frank, because Rodri contributed his own part, right? But because he didn't score most of the goals. But I think if I am very correct, I want to believe Alvarez is the second highest goal scorer in City after Haaland. I don't think Bernardo Silva, I don't think Jack Grealish, I don't think any other person had more this thing than him. So for me, I think Alvarez was the complete player, right? He has a World Cup, he has the treble, right? But then, of course, because he was less in the spotlight, obviously, it's going to be difficult. I'm just using this is just for counter argument's sake. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm just trying to create an alternative that, as much as we're talking about Rodri, I think, we can actually put Alvarez there in that, but it's just that he's an unsung hero, but he did show he did have his key contribution for both Manchester City and Argentina. So if I wanted to do that for a counter argument's sake, I think I would also put Julian Alvarez there.
All right, over to you, Robbie. What do you think about this?
I'm sorry, Edidon. I want to correct Kunle. Sorry, I think I'm not sure it's Julian that is actually the second highest goal scorer. I think Phil Foden, not Alvarez.
You sure? Phil
Yeah.
Foden? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, that's right, but I'll check it. But I was just speculating. I don't really know it off the top of my head, but I know he did at least get. I know Alvarez at least did have a decent amount of goals. And are you really sure about?
He had decent season, but you can't take away what Rodri. Rodri is a starter. Rodri plays almost every game for City, and then Alvarez hasn't been playing that much. So for him to play, but moreover, I don't think, take away Alvarez from the Argentina national team, they will still win the World Cup. So he's actually not for now. He has not been having enough game for him to worth being in the Ballon d'Or list.
I think that's very. I think I would disagree with you on. You see, I think I would disagree with you on that. Let's not try to take it like it was all Messi. Yes, Messi scored 7 goals or thereabouts, but there were other people who actually put in the work. Don't let's put it as though this Alvarez. Don't let's put it as if Argentina was a one-man. Was like a one-man effort or something. You can't even take away people like Alexis McAllister, because we also because we also what Alexis McAllister did, right? So it's the same thing. And even at the back, is it not? I'm sorry. Is it Christian Romero and who was? I know Lisandro Martinez. I'm trying to even remember who were the more consistent people at the back. I know Martinez was kind of in, but is it not Christian Romero? My point is that Alvarez got some goals. I'm trying to remember those games where he scored, but I think, is it even 4 or 5 goals Alvarez had? And maybe people forget that this is a guy who he was just coming from River Plate in Argentina. And him getting into the Argentina World Cup, into the Argentina team for the World Cup, I think that was his first time where he was going to be getting run of games. I don't even know, maybe that was maybe when he was going to be getting his first few caps for Argentina, and he slotted in so seamlessly that he was getting goals. I mean, that is massive. But I can understand. Look, we live in an era where, like I said, Messi, Ronaldo have dominated
Absolutely.
the media space for so
Absolutely.
long that we've hardly paid credence to other important players, right? Who have been doing very well. So I can understand why someone like Julian Alvarez will not. But then again, we are only doing this for counter argument's sake, right? So I'm
Yes.
not taking anything away from Rodri. I'm just trying to bring something as a counter argument that we might actually make a case for Julian Alvarez as well. As much
Absolutely.
as we're also making a case for Rodri. That's all I'm
All
just
right, Robbie, let me hear from you. Do you have anything to say before we move on to the next one? On
no,
top
no,
of
no, no. You can't let him talk. He's a sympathetic. He's.
I mean,
I
sympathetic
don't
what?
want to. I don't
Finish your
want.
statement. Finish your statement.
Let's move on, please. Thank you very much. Let's move on.
Oh my goodness, Robbie.
Well, Didon, I have something to say. I have something to say. Please do not allow these two people, don't allow them gang up against me. Abba, I am a law-abiding Nigerian citizen. I pay my dues. So please, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Your Lordship, thank you very much. Can I speak?
A law abiding. Is any Nigerian on the list there? They're bringing in Nigeria.
Well,
Not at the moment.
looking at these guys here, you have is that Jude Bellingham I'm seeing right there?
Yeah,
Jude Bellingham for Ballon d'Or. Abba now, why are you looking for trouble?
That is
Vinicius
the
Junior,
thing.
yes, you can argue for Vinicius Junior. Kylian Mbappe, yes, he has a stake right there because a couple of days ago he was asked that does he deserve to win the Ballon d'Or, and he said yes, that he deserves to win it. For Erling Haaland, yes, he has a case because he just won the treble with Manchester City. Please, Jude Bellingham, strike Jude Bellingham and replace it with Messi. Because the reason I'm saying all this is, I think now we are going to get to the precipice of how we are going to determine who will be the next Ballon d'Or winner. Now, are you going to say that the treble supersedes the World Cup? Because that is one thing we are looking at right now. That is one thing we're looking at right now. And looking at it from this angle as well, if the Ballon d'Or is given to Messi, then how do you now compensate Haaland for the hard work he has done also this year? This man did not make it to the World Cup. So, like Yoba will say that, I'm a Yofunawani. Haaland did not make it to the World Cup with Norway. We all know that. Norway did not even make it to the last Euros as well. So that alone is counting against this man. Now, Messi went to the World Cup. He won the World Cup. He won a league title with his French team, at least this last season. So that makes it something. He won the Finalissima. That also counts for something. So now, like I said, we are now looking at the gravity of these trophies, the time span they were won, and comparing it to what Haaland has done this season for Manchester City. So I think that is just where the conundrum lies for those who have been tasked with this very, very, very serious job of voting to get the player who will eventually win it at the end of the day. The truth is, whichever player that wins it, I guess there will always be an argument to support the player that wins it eventually. That is my thought.
All right, so let's move on to this because
Didon, please just spare me a few minutes. Let me counter Robbie. He's saying that since when has the World Cup treble supersede the World Cup? I want to remind him that in 2010, Messi won the Ballon d'Or without the World Cup. Fine, he played in the World Cup, but I think they were kicked out. Iniesta, Xavi, Snyder, they were at the World Cup. They got to the final. Spain won it. Yet no player from Spain won Ballon d'Or. So what is he going to say about that?
I think there will be a lot of controversy in this Ballon d'Or. I mean, picking who is going to actually. Robbie, you make a very fast statement. I mean, very critical statement about, are we now going to be saying Champions League is better than World Cup? I mean, you make a statement there, but because of our time, the sports talk, paper talk for today, we're looking at Manchester United willing to walk away from Mount's transfer if the third bid is rejected. I am telling you guys, Kunle, as a Manchester United fan, and Margaret as well, do you think Manchester United should walk away with if they reject the third bid? I'm going to start with you, Margaret. What do you think? Should Manchester United walk away?
Well, I think they should, if he's actually the player they want, they should go for him. They should try. But what I am actually looking at, I don't know what Chelsea are up to. I don't know, probably they want to sell him to the Saudi Arabia because that's where lots of money is coming from. Yes, I think so, because I do not understand the reason why a player who has just 1 year left on his contract, and then you're dragging your feet, dragging price with him. If you look at last season, he didn't play that much. He didn't have enough game time, and then you are putting such amount of money on this player. This is one of the players they wanted to offload, and then a club is coming in with the right amount. They feel it's not the right amount. Fine. If United actually really need him, they want to go for him, they can continue. But the way I'm seeing, Chelsea may end up selling him to the Saudis.
All right, Kule, what do you think? Should Manchester United walk away if Chelsea refuse the third bid that have been submitted today? Kule, what's your take on this?
Yes, I think I would say that because United are in a position where this takeover is. I'm not saying the takeover is going to happen this summer, but I think it's very clear that United doesn't have abundance of funds to spend. So United has to spend judiciously on those targets. United need as much as 4 players in each position, from defense, even the prospect of a goalkeeper, that can compete, that can rival the gear. So if you are spending 55 million is not enough to get one player, if we have to go above 55 million to get Mount, then are we really going to, have enough money to pay for? Because I remembered last summer, we had to pay almost 85 million, to get Anthony. And you think, okay, if you get 85 million for Anthony and maybe your budget is just 200 million or 250 million, how much can you get other players? So I feel if it is dragging on, I think probably we just need to look elsewhere for other, like younger and cheaper prospects that can get the job done. So I feel if after this third bid it doesn't go, they should.
I think so too. I will agree with you on that. I don't think Manchester United needs to waste time on this this saga of Mount coming to Manchester United. If this third bid, if they reject them, at the vex. Which guy, Robbie? It's not a. I don't know, Shawel. I don't know. Me, I don't like him. I sorry. I don't like his. There's so many players out there that is better than this guy. I mean, I'm sorry. Robbie, I'm going to ask you these questions from the paper talk for today. It says, is Saudi Arabia funding Chelsea? I mean, people have been saying everybody.
I don't think Saudi Arabia is funding Chelsea at all. I just think it's just a good piece of business for them. And right now, Saudi Arabia seems to have found a market for the stars they need in their league. Unfortunately, these stars they are looking at, they are concentrated at Chelsea. Mendy is going to Saudi Arabia. Ziyech is going to Saudi Arabia. Who again is going to Saudi Arabia? You have a couple of these players going to Saudi Arabia. So it is more or less like you went into a store and everything you actually want to buy is in that store. Will you, because of the fact that you want to patronize other markets, leave that store? No, you buy everything you want there and go back home, because it saves you the energy of renegotiating somewhere else or walking aimlessly all over the place. So you're just asking, do you have this commodity? Yes. Do you have this commodity? Yes. Do you also have this? Yes, we sell it. Okay, you know what? Give me everything I just asked for. That is more or less what is going on between Saudi Arabia and Chelsea. So I really don't think that Chelsea is funding Saudi Arabia. It's just more or less like as if the relationship between Chelsea and Arsenal, both teams have sold players to each other much more than any other team in the Premier League. United don't sell to Liverpool. Liverpool don't sell to United. United rarely sells to Man City as well. It's just a couple of players that United and City have traded with each other. So, looking at this premise, for Arsenal and Chelsea, would you now say that Arsenal is funding Chelsea or Chelsea is funding Arsenal? You can't say that using this premise. So, for Saudi Arabia, they are just so lucky to be getting what they want from just one place. So that is just the way this business is right now.
All right. Also, Bernardo Silva is also is on their list. They're also talking about Salah being the target. I'm thinking Saudi Arabia is coming up with one thing. Are they trying to change everything? I mean, their league and everything, Robbie.
Okay, I'm with you. For Bernardo Silva, I think, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
For Bernardo Silva, I think going to Saudi Arabia, I don't know. I don't know. I would love him to stay in Man City, really, because I just love that man. He's one man that he doesn't hog the headlines like we see Haaland, like we see De Bruyne, like we see other players, like we see them do. This is one man that is overlooked, is important, is not often stressed in comparison to what the team achieves around him. I think there was a certain game that was played. Yes, it was the first leg of was it the first leg or was it 2 seasons ago? A match against United. There was a goal he scored against United, and he scored that goal from the first. That was the first post of David De Gea. And you just look at this man, like look at how he was able to weave through that very, very tiny space to unleash that shot, and that was what began the whole trouble for United that day. So his importance as a player is not often stressed. And like I said, I would love him to stay at City rather than go to Saudi Arabia.
All right, Kunle German are desperate for club, but will he leave Liverpool? In your own opinion, Kunle, should club just say bye to Liverpool and go back to German to lead their country? What's your take on this paper talk?
I really don't see Jurgen Klopp leaving Liverpool. Yes, fine, he has been there now for almost, like, if I'm right, maybe like almost, is this 7.5 years? Because I think he arrived the season before. He arrived before Guardiola. Yeah, so he has spent more time in Liverpool than he has spent more time in England than Guardiola. And you can be like, okay, he's had so much time. Okay, he's won multiple times. I think, if I'm correct, I think Liverpool have won everything. I might be wrong. I think they've won the League Cup, the FA Cup. I might be wrong, please. But yes, maybe they might not have won a whole lot compared to Klopp, but you just need to look at it that Klopp is in a place where he's not really under pressure. He's enjoying himself. He has control of the squad. His squad, his players respect him. Everything is going well for him. Even at Liverpool's worst, even when things seem to be going down. Yes, Liverpool did not make the top 4, but you can see that there is still so much confidence in Klopp.
Yeah.
The approval of Klopp is still very high because they actually believe in the man that he can turn things around. He can get the job done, and I think he too is feeling it. Really, the man is not just under any sort of pressure, and I think that is what a manager would want. If you are going to Germany, right, that's a whole lot of pressure, because if you don't qualify for the Euros or you don't qualify for the World Cup now, that's wahala. You understand? And Klopp has been, I think Klopp, just like Guardiola. No, okay, don't let me use Guardiola. I mean, Klopp has played in places where there wasn't really much attention on him like that, in the terms of, he played in places where he was given enough room to even make mistakes, and like, look at Dortmund. It's not like a Bayern Munich. So I think he would stay. I think he would stay at Liverpool. I don't see him going to Germany.
All right. There's another thing that I want Margaret to talk about, Declan Rice. Which team do you think you should go for? People have been saying, because right now I think Man City, they are now really ahead. They've submitted the bid. What's your take on this, Margaret? Do you see Rice doing very well in Man City, or is it better to go to Arsenal? Well, let's forget about Manchester United. Me, I don't think we have the money for all this back and forth. Declan Rice. What do you think, Margaret? Is it better suit for Declan Rice to go to Man City, or is it Arsenal, in your own opinion?
Well, first of all, for Man United, I actually don't see him. But for me, I don't actually want him. I think he's
Really?
overrated. He's
Oh,
overrated, yeah.
listen.
And yeah, the only club I feel he should go to should be Arsenal, because he will have a starting shirt there. He's not going to sit on the bench. And Arsenal actually really needed him from the onset. So he will be best. He will be best at Arsenal, not at City. Who is he going to bench at City?
Ro-
Who? Unless Godogan will be leaving. If okay, he has left to
Barcelona.
Barcelona already. So maybe he can have a pair. Him and Rodri can pair. Well, it's still okay. But for me, I feel he should go to Arsenal, because City already have already have firebrand. They already have enough players there, and they're willing to buy more. So we should go to Arsenal.
You should go to Arsenal. Let's quickly talk about Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz was already he's an Arsenal fan right now. So I'm going to take it up from Robbie. Kai Havertz in Arsenal. Why did Arsenal Arteta sign this player? Because I've been hearing I would have loved an Arsenal fan. I mean,
yes, to give an insight into this. Well,
I was
what
looking
the thing
for.
is,
I did everything. It said it's gets stuck in the traffic. I mean,
yeah,
train
yeah,
speed.
so sad. Well, from what I have gathered so far,
Yeah.
I think there are two school of thoughts as regards how Arsenal fans feel about this player. Last season, this player was a shadow of himself.
I
Before he
swear
came
down.
to the English football, he was doing quite well in the German Bundesliga. But
Yeah.
I think if you actually sum up Kai Havertz's career as a player who has played in England for maybe 2 or 3 years, the highlight of his career is that goal he scored against Manchester City. That is the only significant thing that he has done as a Chelsea player. And a school of thought will tell you that that is not enough as a player who plies his trade in the English Premier League. Now, some Arsenal fans are happy. Oh, okay, fine. Well. Let's not despair that much. He's not like as if he is that bad. That is what some school of thought are saying. While the other school of thought are very angry at this particular transfer, because this is not what they are expecting. They are expecting Declan Rice's transfer move to be on the front burner than Kai Havertz at this point in time. Then looking at his antecedents at Chelsea, they are weary of the fact that will this man not come and replicate what he did at Chelsea, double-fold or three-fold or seven-fold at Arsenal? This is somebody that he cannot find his feet. He does not know how to position himself very well. He does not even know where the net is, talk less of putting the ball into the back of the net. So this is the crossroad where you have some Arsenal fans on the left, some Arsenal fans on the right. Some are rejoicing, some are not so happy about this particular transfer. And they are looking at Mikel Arteta asking this question like, dude, do you know what you are doing at all? So, like I said, let us wait till when the season starts. Let us see this man take to the field before we begin to judge if this transfer move was more or less a master stroke or a very, very terrible mistake made by Arsenal.
Well, Kunle, do you have any opinion contrary to this? Do you think it's okay? I mean, Havertz could find his way back to the top where we used to know him in Arsenal. What's your take on this, Kai Havertz in Arsenal?
Well, it's really yet to be seen. You know, I think Kai Havertz is a unique player because Kai Havertz is not an out-and-out striker, but you know, he's someone who can give you the goals. And I think if Kai Havertz is going to be played in the position he thrives best, I think we would see the best in him. Because I think in the case of Chelsea, he was played. I think he was just played out of position a lot. I think Kai Havertz plays best as a 10, but sometimes he was played as a 9. Sometimes he was played on the wing, and I think that doesn't suit him. So if he can be played to his main strengths, I think maybe we would see the best in him, and at least I can even say that Arsenal were a little bit more stable than Chelsea in a way, at least last season. Judging by where Chelsea finished and where Arsenal finished. So there is need for continuation at Arsenal, right? And you need to bring in some, good players to continue from where they stopped, and at least maybe try and challenge for the title again this season. And so it's not a bad buy. I think it's just a matter of getting Kai Havertz into the right and proper position, and I think that's where it comes in.
All right, guys, this is we're not going to this is how far we can go tonight. But before we go, here we go right now. Tonali, that's Sandro Tonali, joining Newcastle. Robbie, this guy, I think you know him. He's a very dangerous guy, very good player for me. Newcastle signing their first player for the season. Robbie, what's your take on this? Here we go, Tonali to Newcastle.
Sandro Tonali, this is one beautiful midfielder, and I tell you, I think I'm just falling in love with Newcastle at this point in time.
I'm telling
and
you,
one thing that makes me a little bit critical of Manchester United is the fact that United don't have that. I really don't understand. They don't have that organization to go to the transfer market, not dilly-dally on the transfer target, get it sorted out, and they get it wrapped up as fast as possible. This issue as regards this transfer as regards Tonali was not even in the news 3 weeks ago. It was not in the news 2 weeks ago. It just popped up 3 days, 4 days ago, and this deal is almost done. Now there's a speculation over United for Andre Onana. This deal will drag on till next week. It will drag on till 2 weeks time from now. The one for Mason Mount, United were just testing the patience of Chelsea. This is how much they say they want for the player. You are going there with short of the fund. They are now saying we are coming back again. Coming back to do what? It's not like as if you don't know what this person is asking for. Give this person what this person wants and get the deal done. That is not the only deal you need to do as a club. And there's so much to sort out. So like I said, I think United should try and follow this kind of models. Identify the players you want, put the money forward, get the players done, and of course, keep on moving with the business you need to do for the club.
All right, guys, this is how far we can go. I tell you, it's been a fantastic moment. Robbie, what's happening? What should we be expecting on the Women's World Cup? Is there any news on ground?
Yes. Well, like I said, I believe after the program, you and I will see and put finishing touches to that. I think ISTV should look at something very good for the World Cup. The World Cup is going to be an exciting one, and I tell you that I think from what I'm feeling right here, people are taking a lot of interest at this upcoming World Cup. Aside the fact that Nigeria will be going to the party, the fact that this World Cup is an expanded version, because we've never had this amount of teams at the Women's World Cup before. So we're going to be having about 32 teams or thereabout for this World Cup. So it tells you that FIFA has recognized and has rewarded accordingly the role of women in sports. So I think it's going to be a big one. And of course, ISTV will not be left behind in this party.
All right, you've heard that from that great man called Robbie. Robbie, thank you so much for joining us on this show.
Thank you so much, Abinu. Thank you so much.
All right. Margaret, the Iron Lady of ISTV, thank you so much for joining us on this one.
Yeah, thank you, Don.
All right.
It's good. Thank you.
All right, have a nice weekend. Kunle, the great man from Oshodi. Oshodi, Rock City, beautiful city. The city I love most. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Don. I really appreciate.
All right, people, smash the like on the video. This is how far we can go. Subscribe, share this video, build up a community with us, and so many things coming up on this channel. One love, people. This is how far the great man can go. Don't forget. Have a nice weekend. On to the next one.